88 Kominski.
Hi, sir. It's Lawrence Crook. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mr. Crook?
I'm all right. Sorry I missed your call.
No worries. No worries. I'm still here.
So, are you aware that she's violated the restraining order already?
Yeah, I believe my office said that took place in Queens, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the Queens NYPD and the Queens District Attorney handles anything that happens in Queens. So my office only has jurisdiction over things that had, like the assault incident. But for Queens, you would want to reach out to the Queens NYPD and the Queens District Attorney.
Okay. I have not heard from anyone related to that. I wanted
Have you reported it to the police?
I did, and I understand a detective has been assigned, Detective Washington. It's a female. She's been around for a while, although she just started with that precinct not long ago. But yeah, I have not seen or heard from her yet. Now, the other thing, too, is when she was arrested in your district, I'd never heard from anyone related to that either. Not until I walked into your office. Now, it was a bit difficult because I didn't have a working phone. But, I only found out through web crims that she was arrested, so.
Yeah, we tried. Well, did an officer not speak to you? Near what day was she arrested? Yeah, June 17th. Did an officer not talk to you around then?
June 17th? No.
Yeah.
Why?
Let's see.
So why
Olivia Barley?
Double check that date for me. Is that the arrest date? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Police officer, her name was Olivia Barley. She told me she spoke to you. Did you not speak to her?
Olivia Barley.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Oh,
Never heard that person's name. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated, okay?
Sure.
Lena Catherine Rodriguez is one of the most creative and devilish scamsters that this city has ever known, okay? She was probably speaking to her. But if she's in custody behind her, then she's speaking to someone who has the technologies that Lena often uses, voice emulators. They even have facial emulators now, which Lena has gone around pretending to be me for a while, and they're in the process of trying to set me up to look like a drug dealer in California. I'm not making this up, okay? She's a violent person. Since that Queens incident, and I wanted to video call you because I wanted you to see it, I have a black eye. I was attacked by at least one of her associates who first approached me with a knife. I called him I'm not going to mix words here. I called him a pussy and walked away. And then I came back, and then he brought his bigger friend with him, and they just started wailing on me. I was able to get away. I'm fine, although I was bleeding everywhere I went. And I got to tell you, the most disappointing thing about that whole incident was me trying to get someone to help me call 911. You'd think that would be easy. No, it was not. So I just gave up. I never even reported it. But, so, Olivia, what's the name again? I have to write that down. Olivia Barley?
Yes.
What precinct is Olivia Barley with?
28.
Okay. Now, on your online, it says she was arrested the 19th.
She was arrested on the 17th.
Okay. It first said the 22nd. Yep.
I don't know why that would be, but
it first said the 22nd, then WebCrim said the 19th. Now you're telling me it's the 17th. And I have screenshots I didn't take screenshots of the 22nd. I might have, but they removed things from my inbox quite a bit. And when I say they, I'm including the NYPD in that. Certain members, and there are very few of them, but there are certain members that do that. And here's why, my friend. Lena is very good, like I said, at scamming people. And part of the way she could do that, she can get into phones. When I heard they had that 2-year restraining order against her, that was the best thing I could do, okay? Because she offered herself up to the police as a CI. And she's been helping them for, I assume, a long time. She does not help them as much as she leads on to them thinking, okay? she harbors and hides quite a few secrets that they would have loved to have known, but the NYPD is choosing, and I say that as a broad stroke term once again, because it's not even close to the majority of them, but there are a few. It sounds like Miss Barley is one of them that protect her because they think she's convinced them she's a victim, or because she's the one that hacked President Trump's phone. Okay. I'm a Fox employee, former Fox employee. She got me fired from Fox, and I was discreetly given a heads up that I needed to help look into which one of these transgendered women got into his phone. And it was her. Now, I don't know what they garnered from that, but to protect those secrets, my friend, I have had 4 broken ribs. I've had 2 broken bones in my face. I've had over 50 stitches to my face. I'm homeless. I'm destitute. I'm tired of this person. Last night, I spent about 5 hours. I took a little nap over by Gracie Mansion. When I left, guess what happened? A domestic murder-suicide where a 1-year-old child was killed and 2 females. I do not want to die, ADA Kominski. And this person is violent. She's tiny, but you put a gun in her hand, she's violent. So,
does she have access to firearms that you know?
She's the dated Latin king. She knows people who know people, and I try to stay as far away from her as possible. Has she possibly bought a gun since then and convinced them I need it because Lawrence is this crazy person? Perhaps she has. I wouldn't put it past her. She can swindle her way into any scenario she wants. But if she had one, probably not. You know why? Because she would have shot me by now. But I laugh, but it's this is a dangerous thing she's doing. So I need this to stop. I don't appreciate the misinformation. Where was she arrested? Does it say anything about that?
Yeah, she was arrested at... actually, she might have surrendered herself.
No. This person does not surrender themselves unless they're like, sweetheart, we got a sweet deal for you. Come in, we're going to take care of you. This person runs.
She either surrendered herself, or she was arrested on a warrant in another county and brought in. I can't tell which one it was, but it was one of those 2.
Which she was either arrested on a warrant from another county or she turned herself in?
Yeah, because she...
was there an iCard on her or something?
Well, when you made the report, they would have put out an iCard for her.
Right, but then what is the warrant from another county?
Well, no, I mean, like, she was picked up in another county, like arrested.
Oh, in Queens. Was it Queens?
I don't know. That's the... Because it says she was arrested in a precinct, which usually means she either surrendered herself or she was picked up in another county and then brought there.
To the 24th precinct?
No, this one is the 28th.
So, she turned herself in to what precinct? You don't know?
Well, I mean, I don't know if she turned herself in. She was either picked up on another county on a warrant and then brought to the 28th precinct, or she surrendered herself at the 28th precinct.
Or one of her friends told her, hey, come meet me, and then we'll go together? And by friends, I say police officer.
I don't know, sir.
Why don't you know? And how do we get that answer? I'm not trying to be rude, but I would imagine that of anyone, the defense attorney might not have that, although, of course, if they spoke to her, she would say so. But that you would have that information. Why don't you? What do you think? Why didn't they communicate that to you?
I can ask.
Please do, yeah, because I need to know all the details related to this, and I'll tell you why. We need to sit in person, and I need to show you what I have, okay? They are protecting this person because the only thing I could think of, and this is all conjecture and just assuming, and as a journalist, you can't assume, you have to prove, right? Because assumptions could be wrong, and you could ruin your career on an assumption. But I'm pretty positive that that's what she did. based off what I got from the Trump camp, and then what she's capable of, and they're protecting her and that little secret. Okay, and that doesn't look good for them because that's an illegal intrusion into his phone, which would then exonerate him from all wrongdoing, even if he did something wrong. But you obtained that information illegally, so that needs to. And I know, look, forget that it's Trump, please. Okay, put your elderly grandmother in there if it helps. All right, that shouldn't happen to anyone, let alone a president of the United States. Okay, it should not happen to anyone. And if that's just another cry, and I'm all for it, change the laws. If that's a problem, then we need to change the laws. But you can't do it sideways and backwards and illegally. That's not right. If I'm supposed to follow the rules, so are you.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I know this sounds outlandish, but my friend 88 Kominski, you and I have met for a reason. I know you're a young, budding person in that department, in that district. Let me tell you something. Justin Bonus was my lawyer I hired back in 2019. He represented over 25 domestic violence cases, 25 different people. He said, Lawrence, you were going up against the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. This is a no-joke place. This is probably the best in the country when it comes to prosecuting people who have committed that crime in this country. And the guy, the ADA who I was up against was Johnson, who's a Harvard grad, okay? He's like, I've only gotten 2 people off. And over the 25 people I've represented, I've only gotten 2 people off, and you're one of them. And I got you off 4 times. This person is a liar. And your office saw it before. And if they're finding ways to manipulate the truth, I will tell you and I will show you how they're doing it. And then we will get the bad eggs out of that very brave department that's ashamed of the few. And they're relying on me. They are, to help them with it.
Okay.
They are, sir, and they are. They tip their hats to me all the time. They do whatever they can discreetly because they know I stand the best chance of doing something bad. A homeless man.
Okay. I understand, sir. So what I want to talk to you about most is what the case we have in this jurisdiction is, which is an incident that took place.
This is what we're going to do. I'm sorry to cut you off. All right, you sound like a good person, and I can't wait to sit down and talk to you face to face. But you don't have all the answers yet. I need to know where she was arrested, who brought her there. These are important. This is important. Who brought her there? I'm going to write this name down. Detective Paul Scott. Okay? I'm going to guess it was him. I've filed 2 CCRB complaints against him. One of them is because Lena, who I messaged on an online forum, she was posing as somebody else. And I'm like, Lena, would you stop doing this? And she's like, I need to tell you something. I'm like, what? Detective Scott has killed 2 people. I said, really? I've filed CCRB complaints to inquire about that. They have not responded to me. All right, so that needs to figure out. I need to know why. If you go on WebCrims, which is a very reliable court system populated and generated website information where it says she was arrested on the 19th, not the 17th. My guess is, sir, she was not arrested at all. The reason that's the case is because she has my old devices and she keeps an eye on me. So while she's keeping an eye on me, that's more important to the crooked police officers than it is for her to get arrested, and then I'm able to then push forward and break through that barrier that she puts up. So that needs to happen. I need to know where, when, why, and how, and what day next week are we meeting?
Okay, I'm happy to meet in person next week.
Thank you.
However, I want to meet with you next week, and we can schedule right now. However, I do want to go over a bit over the phone what happened. Some evidence is deleted or doesn't, last very long.
Sure.
Just so I can try to get my hands on it first. I just like a few details.
So the really important thing is I have some photos that I took where you could see her swinging at me through the reflection. And then I have pictures of her on the scene. There are 2 surveillance cameras on Lenox Avenue on the corner of 125th, right? I've gone to that building multiple times. The people at CBS believe that the cameras work, but the security guard, a Puerto Rican woman, tells me they're dummy cameras. Okay, they're dummy cameras. I could tell right away she's full of it. Okay, those dummy cameras, I don't know how long they're going to last for. The detective who's working on this, the 28th, should have been made aware that they're there. Did they go get that video? I doubt it, because it shows how violent she is. All right? But I don't know how long it's going to last either. 30 days, maybe, if we're lucky. Whatever it is, sir, they're going to tell you they no longer have it. I guarantee you that.
Okay, this is the CVS at the corner of Lenox and West 125th, right?
Right. There are not a lot of Trump supporters up there. That's why this is ridiculous. I don't want to die, and this is all about President Trump, you know? And that he doesn't want to be part of this either, you know? It's like, this is drama. Nobody wants drama, all right? But they're making it about him. This is about me and my safety, all right? That's number one. So yes, there is 2 surveillance cameras, brand new cameras, beautiful. I'm sure they depict the incident beautifully. On the corner on Lenox, if you head south, which is what we did, I approached her on, I think it's Lenox. It's the CBS on 125th Street, right? I don't have access to a map right now. Can you double check and make sure you see it?
No, I know it's there. I can go check it out.
All right, okay. So then I called 911 from a kiosk nearby. Now, here's the thing about kiosks is, you know, it's up to the discretion of the civilian 911 operator whether or not to end the call. Now, it started going well. She said she was going to dispatch someone, and then the call got disrupted. Somehow, some way. Oh, and there's a phone number I got a phone call back from. Do you have a 350 number in your notes?
You're in the 911 call?
So right after I placed the 911 call, a 347, and then your notes might reflect that it was 350 that called back. It should be 250. I have to look this number up. This is why I want to meet you. But if you Google that number, it comes back to, everyone's like, well, this is the police that call. Okay, everyone's ubiquitous on that. Everybody agrees it's police that are using that number. The problem is a lot of those are complaints. And they're complaints about somehow, somewhere, there's a barrier, and that person calls back and decides whether or not this is something they're going to pursue, but it's not something that they call everyone back on, just the ones that they're worried about, I think. And which means that every time I call 911, I don't get anywhere, okay? So she called back, and she's like, did you just call 911? And at that point, I had gone down, because I was waiting too long, to this MTA train station where there happened to be a outpost for the police. And I have their names, and I spoke to 2 very, very nice and very kind and cooperative, transit police, and they helped me out, and they stayed with me, man. They went all the way to the hospital with me. God bless them. But they were there for a long time, and when the fire truck showed up, he's like, yeah, dude, we got like a completely different address than this. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah. And he's like, it came over the radio as a bicyclist struck by a car at 145th Street. Okay. Well, I don't have a bicycle since mine was stolen from me 2 years ago. So I'm not saying that. I know better. That would make me cry. That would make me remind myself that I no longer have a bicycle. That's number one. Number two, I knew exactly where I was. And number three, this is MO for me, buddy. I have all the records of all the calls that I collected that your city no longer has. Okay? They are protecting this person. This person is gross. Like, what are you doing, police? What are you doing? Don't do that. It looks bad for the department. And the police officers know this. Most of them are like, man, we can't, this is bad. And I'm going to be graceful, and I'm going to be eloquent, and I'm going to be kind and appreciative when I write about it, but this has got to stop. And these people who are emboldened and think they're smarter than everybody, you're not. All right, you're not. I see right through it. So, all right, anyway, that's number one. Number two, so the 911 call that was cut off, I have pictures of that. I have a little bit of video. The second time I called, they answered and just listened. Didn't say anything. I have video of that. The third, so, and then then I guess there was another mix-up with the police. So I get to, I'm waiting with the transit cops, and then another precinct shows up. They're like, oh no, we were given a different address than that. And then they're throwing their hands up in the air, and I'm looking at them like, hey, buddy, this is what it takes. When I'm calling, it's going to be difficult. It shouldn't be, but it will be. And then finally, the officers from the 28th showed up. They were both nice. Officer Jimenez, if you want to write that down, and Officer Brown. Officer Jimenez and Officer Brown. They were the ones that took my report. Officer Jimenez is the one that he brought up that number, but he wrote down 350. He's like, is it 350? I said, yes. And then after he left, I was like, wait a minute, I don't think it was 350. And I looked, it's 250. I think it's like 9889 or something like that. I'm going off memory, though. Hold on one second. I got a fire truck going by. I'm sorry.